We'll start shortly. We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes more, and then we'll start. Ninichachi, are you there?
Yes. Vivek, 1 minute.
Should we start?
Start now? Yeah, fine. A very warm good morning to one and all, and hearty welcome to the online workshop on Astrophysics, Cosmology, and Nonlinear Dynamics, which is organized as a tribute to our dear Professor V.C. Kuriakose, famous physicist and former head of the Department of Physics, Cochin University of Science and Technology, who left us all at the age of 71 on 30th August 2018. I am Kuriakosa's student, Minu Joy, presently working at Alfonso College, Pala. This workshop is the second memorial event in Professor V.C. Kuriakose Memorial Workshop Series, organized by Astronomical Society of Kerala in collaboration with Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune. Professor V.C. Kuriakose was born in 1947 at Kuttatukulam in Ernakulam district. He did his graduation and post-graduation at Union Christian College, Aluva. After completing his MSc Physics in 1971, Sir joined UC College as a faculty member. While teaching at UC College, he obtained his doctoral degree from CUSAT under the guidance of Professor K. Babu Joseph in 1983. Professor V.C. Kuriakose led the Department of Physics of UC College to a research department in the year 1985. In 1989, Sir joined CUSAT as reader. Later, he was promoted as professor and took the headship of the department in June 2004. Kuriakose sir was a visiting associate of IUCAA Pune, convener of TPSC program, and coordinator of IUCAA Reference Center since 1999. After the retirement in 2007, Kuriakose sir continued in the department as emeritus scientist. He was the mentor for generations of astronomers from Kerala. Kuriakose sir guided 22 researchers towards their doctoral degree. In his scientific career, Sir made important contributions to several fields, including gravitational cosmology, astrophysics, and nonlinear dynamics. He had more than 155 publications in high impact factor journals. Kuriakose sir was an excellent administrator while he served as the head of the Department of Physics CUSAT and widely known for his calm yet perceptive nature. Sir was assigned as one of the principal investigators of the Indian Neutrino Project, collaborated with Fermilab, USA. Professor Kuriakose was active in the dissemination of astronomy and astrophysics among the young generation. Sir was very active in the field of research and also in the promotion of astronomy in Kerala, for which he formed a group called Astronomical Society of Kerala and conducted regular skywatches and classes at schools and colleges at several places in Kerala. Until his last breath, Kuriakose sir relentlessly worked for the cause of astronomy education in universities in our state and in the country. Professor research students have a successful academic career, with most of them placed as faculty members or postdoctoral researchers in reputed institutions in India and abroad. Kuryakos sir was much more than a guide for us. In addition to the research guidance, Sir used to give us useful directions regarding several matters, including our career, life, etc. etc. We were always happy to see his pleasant and calm face. It's he who taught us how to organize workshops like this. In a very systematic and successful way, Sir organized two International Conference on Gravitation and Cosmology, and one in optical solitons, and several other national conferences, during which we, Sir students, got opportunity to interact and discuss with the experts, and also we learned the techniques and technicalities of arranging such meetings. I remember Babu Joseph sir once mentioning that Kuryakos sir was the most intelligent among Babu sir's students. He tried to radiate that intelligence. Even after the retirement, our sir tried his level best to motivate more students and encourage them to learn astronomy and astrophysics. That's why we thought that such a workshop series for students is the most suitable tribute for our Kuryakos sir. Kuryakos sir's guide, Professor Babu Joseph, the renowned theoretical physicist and writer, is with us now. He is the former Vice Chancellor of Cochin University and Science and Technology. And we had no better choice than Babu sir to inaugurate this workshop in memory of Kuryakos sir. I still remember and cherish his classical mechanics classes for us at CUSAT. Just like a beautiful poem, the fundamentals and concepts were flowing towards us during his lecture. We are fortunate enough to have Babu Joseph sir with us today. On behalf of Kuryakos sir students and each and everyone present, let me wholeheartedly welcome our beloved and most respected Babu Joseph sir for sharing his memories of Kuryakos sir and for inaugurating this workshop. Professor Ajit Kembave, the world-famous astrophysicist and the Vice President of International Astronomical Union, is also with us to grace this occasion. He is presently a Professor Emeritus at the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune, of which he is also a founder, member, and director. Professor Kembave has played a very significant role in the development of astronomy as a research area in India, and he was very close to our Kuryakos sir. Let me sincerely welcome Professor Ajit Kembave to this meeting. Many of the former and present faculty members and colleagues and collaborators of Kuryakos sir is with us to share their personal reflections. Let me welcome the former director of Ayuka, Professor Jayan V. Narlikar, and retired faculty members from CUSAT, Professor K.P. Vijaykumar, Professor Ramesh Babu T, Professor Godfrey Lewis, Professor M.R. Anandaraman, Professor X. Jayalashmi, and also Professor M. Junaid Bushri and Professor Titus Matthews, then Professor Indulekha from MG University, and Professor M.K. Jairaj, Vice Chancellor of Calicut University, to this memorial function. On behalf of each and every one of us, let me welcome our resource persons, Professor Mohammad Sami and Professor M. Lakshman and Professor Nilima M. Gupta, to this memorial function. We acknowledge the presence of Kuryakos sir's wife, Professor Leelama teacher, and sir's family members. Now, just for the sake of completeness, let me welcome Kuryakos sir students who all work together effectively and efficiently to materialize this workshop. Now, the most important and essential part of this workshop, the participants. We got an overwhelming response to this meeting announcement, and we received a total of 950 registrations. There were applicants from more than 100 institutions. Unfortunately, our current logistics limit the number of Zoom participants to 250, and we are providing the opportunity for all the registered students to attend the meeting through a YouTube live webcast. We wish you all a very fruitful and beneficial time. On 4th September, that is tomorrow at 3 p.m., we will be having a panel discussion on research in physics, challenges and opportunities. Please interact with the experts and try to get the maximum output. Best wishes to each and every one of you participants. Once again, hearty welcome to all those who are attending this memorial function of Professor V.C. Kuriakose. Thank you all. Now, let me invite most respected Professor Babu Joseph, former Vice Chancellor, Cochin University of Science and Technology, and our Kuriakose sir's guide for the formal inauguration of the workshop and the memorial speech.
Minuji,
Babu sir.
Professor Dadij is also with us.
Oh, okay. On behalf of all the participants and Professor Kuriakose students, let me wholeheartedly welcome Professor Dadij, who was the former director of Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. Hearty welcome, Professor Dadij. Babu sir.
Babu sir, you are not audible. Babu sir, 1 second. There is some problem in your audio. Sir, it is not audible yet. Sir, can you try once again? No, sir, it's not audible. It's not audible. You just remove this earphone and once again and just plug in back.
Hello?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
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 Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be associated with this program of workshop on astrophysics, cosmology, and nonlinear dynamics. I understand that this is the second in a series of workshops which have been planned by Professor Kuriakose's all students and friends. Kuriakose was my student. He was a great student, a great teacher, and a great researcher. He combined all these three qualities in himself. And you cannot find fault with him for any lapse under any of these categories. He was an excellent student. I remember him sitting in my BSc lecture class at UC College way back in 1968. he was doing what was then called BSc Special Degree course. The syllabus was heavier than the syllabus for ordinary BSc. Only selected students were allowed to sit in that class, and he was one who sat in the front row. I remember him from those days, that is from 1968. In 1969, I left UC College to join the Kerala University Ernakulam Center, which later became the Cochin University of Science and Technology. He did his MSc there, and after passing MSc with very high record marks, he became a lecturer there and worked for a couple of years. He was trying to go abroad to do research, and he always sought my advice. I still remember myself giving testimonials, the recommendation letters, whenever he asked. But in those days, the number of assistantships available was very small. And I was a junior lecturer also. So my recommendation did not produce any fruit. Gradually, he became convinced that it is better to do PhD here than keep on trying for a position abroad. So he joined for research as a part-time scholar in the first instance. He was a lecturer there at UC College, and I was his guide for his PhD too. His field of research was quantum field theory, fields at high temperatures. That was a fashionable area of research in quantum field theory and high energy physics in those days. Steven Weinberg was one of the stalwarts who inaugurated several new ideas, new theories in that area, and we were pursuing largely his formulations. We had a wonderful time with Kyriakos as student and me as his guide. But the fact was that we were learning together. He was teaching me also. I was teaching him, and in turn he was teaching me. So went on in a friendly and cordial atmosphere. We could do some work which received attention abroad also. The area which we explored was phase transitions. Phase transitions is a well-known subject in physics, especially in condensed matter physics. And those days, theoretical physicists were trying to extend ideas from condensed matter physics to high energy physics, and we joined that effort. Students of physics are familiar with phase transitions of first order and second order, conversion of ice into water or water into ice, and so on. Similarly, paramagnetism being replaced by ferromagnetism. These are all temperature dependent transitions, but there is difference. I don't want to go into the details now for want of time. One of the things which attracted our attention as well as that of several others was the calculation of transition temperatures in different field systems. After doing several problems, standard problems, we turned to lattice field theory and did some work there. The best work that Kyriakos did as a PhD student was the proof that not only the mass, but the coupling constant, that is a measure of the forces at work in a field system, are dependent on temperature. We showed that in the lambda phi 4, what is called the phi 4 or lambda phi 4 field theory, the coupling constant lambda increases with temperature. That was the first paper in that area. So that received some attention in the literature. So after his PhD, Kyriakos, in the meantime, Kyriakos had developed the physics department of UC College as a research department, as mentioned here already by Dr. Minu. Research had been started there also, but in 89 or so, he moved to Cochin University of Science and Technology Physics Department as a lecturer. From then on, his life was more or less dedicated to physics, and not only to physics, but to developing his own research school in the Department of Physics of Research. Though his PhD training was in quantum field theory, his interest gradually shifted to gravitation, cosmology, and astrophysics, because that was becoming the new trend in theoretical physics in those times, and he caught up with the latest trends in that area. He became the he was in charge of the theoretical physics reference center in the department. It was financed by IUCA. He built up a good reference library there. He had attracted very brilliant students as his such students. He has been a very well-known teacher, not only in the department, but as a resource person across India. He has organized several programs here, both national and international levels. We miss him for various on various counts. I personally miss him for his friendship, his ideas, his intelligence, and his fearless opinions. You know that when during the emergency period, Kyriakos was a sharp critic of the then Indira Gandhi administration. We were somewhat afraid of speaking out somehow, but Kyriakos was not like that. He stood for his opinions, not only in physics, but he was prepared to change his opinions in physics, but not in politics. That aspect is very little known outside his friend circles. So that is why I am mentioning it here. His dear wife, Dr. Leelama, is with us. She is also a former student of mine. Son, daughter, they are also attending this program. I express once again my deep appreciation of the contributions given by Dr. Kyriakos to physics, and also to the fact that we miss him I miss him personally as an excellent student, a brilliant researcher, and a beacon bearer. He has started the Astronomical Society of Kerala. That was probably his own idea, and his students helped him expand its activities. Under the banner of the Astronomical Society of Kerala, several programs are being organized in various centers. Observations, telescope use of telescope is becoming very popular in schools and colleges in this state. He has contributed along with several others to the development of astrophysics as a novel discipline. Kyriakos was noted for his disciplined life above all. He was systematic in studies, research, and teaching, in everything. You can rely on him, you can entrust him any difficult task. He has been responsible for organizing several functions even after my retirement. That's why I miss him on that count also. On this occasion, I, on my personal behalf, thank the organizers for allowing me to inaugurate this function and the second installment in the series of workshops. I wish the program all success and best wishes to the family and the community of students of House of Kyriakos. Thank you.
Thank you, Babu sir. Thank you very much. Next, we will have a memory sharing session by Kyriakos sir's colleagues and collaborators and some of his students.
Kyriakos was a cherished friend whom I knew for several years. He was a good associate of Ayuka. That is, he fulfilled all the requirements of being an associate and produced good work as a result of his interaction with Ayuka. He also was a good teacher and produced a family of very good students. So he was missed both by students and teachers. I should also mention that he himself was very hospitable. Whenever people like us visited him, he looked after us very well. One of the examples that I want to give briefly was that once I was put up in the university guest house and I was told that there is no eating facility here. So where to eat? They said there is a canteen just around the corner. So I told Kyriakos that I will go and have my breakfast there. So he was not very keen about it. He said the place is not good for you. But I said I will go and see what happens. And he turned out to be right. The food was terrible. and I did not like it at all. So when I came back, Kuriakose was waiting there, and he said, I have brought food for you, because he expected that I will not get satisfaction. So this is another of his properties, that he looked after us very well. I hope that we will have more VCKs in future.
Dear friends, we are all here to share our memories of Professor Kuriakose. I know him right from the 70s, towards the end of the 70s to be correct. And at that time, Professor Kuriakose was a research scholar in the Department of Physics in CUSAT. He was doing his research as a part-time student under the guidance of Professor Babu Joseph. And later, he came to the department as a full-time research scholar under FAP scheme. And during all this period, we were together in a single room, discussing with each other on different matters. After completing his PhD, Kuriakose had the chance of coming back to physics department under a UGC scheme for 3 years. And finally, Professor joined here as a full-time faculty member. And few years later, I also joined here to work with him as my colleague. And years and years, several decades we were together.
Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, my dear students and other participants. As you may be knowing, this is the second of the workshops organized in connection with the memory of late Professor V.C. Kuriakose. First of all, I would like to thank his PhD students for arranging this program. Most of these students are known to me personally, and I do not intend to name any one of them in particular. My association with the Department of Physics CUSAT started in the beginning of the year 1991. Everybody in the department at that time was new to me, except with Professor Babu Joseph. I had some official communication by postal mails previously. Generally, we established friendship relation with other people for various reasons. Since my field of study is theoretical physics, naturally I became friends with late Professors V.C. Kuriakose and M. Sabir. Late Professor Kuriakose had really helped me in different ways. I do not want to list them now. I also strongly supported his academic activities most of the time. If he agrees to take the leadership for any departmental academic activity, he had his own way of implementing it. He also makes sure that students are also a part of it. In the Kerala context, he definitely had a special role in spreading the activities of Ayuka Pune. As an individual, you always want to keep the relationship alive. It does not matter whether it is academic or professional or personal. It is important that you also keep the same spirit if you look at his associations with his students. I think this may be the reason that he was really disturbed after the passing away of one of his close associates, late Professor Porcheyan from Pondicherry University. After we retired, me and late Professors Kuriakose and Sabir were sitting in the same hall of the Department of Physics. Suddenly, within a short period of time, both left us untimely, and these incidents were really a shock to me. I try to get some self-consolation by reminding myself about the words of some great people about death. To be frank, it did not give me any immediate relief. I had to wait for some more time because time is the best and natural healer. Now 2 years has passed after Professor Kuriakose left us. His wife, Dr. Leelama, and his immediate family members will definitely get some relief by seeing this kind of events organized by his students. May the good memories of him help his family to find peace. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We all keep in our heart the loving memories of Professor V.C. Kuriakose. Today, a workshop series called Professor V.C. Kuriakose Memorial Workshop Series 2020 is being conducted to remember Professor V.C. Kuriakose. I understand that it is organized by Astronomical Society of Kerala in collaboration with IUCA, Pune. The organizing team of this workshop includes the dedicated team of PhD students of Professor V.C. Kuriakose. I first of all thank and congratulate the organizers for organizing such a workshop series in memory of Professor V.C. Kuriakose. The topics covered in this workshop are astrophysics, cosmology, and nonlinear dynamics, which were the areas in which Professor V.C.K. made major research contributions. One of his major interests was popularizing astronomy among young students and general public. Personally, my association with Professor V.C.K. started way back in the year 1981 when I joined as a lecturer in the Department of Physics of Union Christian College, Alway, where V.C.K. was also a teacher. At that time, he was also doing research in theoretical physics under the guidance of Professor Babu Joseph at Cochin University of Science and Technology. He later joined as a teacher in CUSAT, and I moved to MG University, Kottayam. Our association as colleagues again happened in the year 2006 when I joined the Department of Physics, CUSAT, as professor. At that time, he was the head of the Department of Physics. Even after his retirement, he was very active in his research and astronomy popularization activities. He was managing the IUCA Center at the Department of Physics, CUSAT. He has supervised more than 20 PhD students during his career. He formed a group called Astronomical Society of Kerala for the promotion of astronomy knowledge in Kerala. His services in this direction are highly commendable. We had very warm relations with each other. It was shocking for me to hear his demise 2 years back. It is indeed very pleasing to see that the workshop series is being now started as a tribute to Professor V.C. Kuriakose. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to speak a few words in this occasion. Also, I wish all success for this workshop. Thank you all.
Good morning. My first meeting with Kuriakose sir was in the year 1990. I was waiting for the university bus to reach the department. He was commuting from Alva while I was commuting from Perumbavoor for a short while. I still remember his characteristic smile when he greeted me and offered me a seat in the bus. That meeting developed into a good friendship between us. This was not the sort of friendship between a junior colleague and a senior colleague. We used to discuss many issues, including the need to strengthen the study of astrophysics and astronomy in Indian universities, citing success stories in Europe and America. Perhaps these discussions acted as a catalyst in his mind to create a nucleus for such studies back in CUSAT. In latter years, with the patronage of his mentor, Professor K. Babu Joseph, he could establish a center at CUSAT with the cooperation of IUCAA. He was instrumental in establishing a good rapport with IUCAA Pune, University of Madras, Central University of Pondicherry, and Bharatidasan University, Trichy, which enabled him and his students to interact with the pioneers in this area of physics. On this occasion, I also remember Porcherian, who was a common friend of both of us, who is no more with us. Both Porcherian and Sir were strong collaborators in the area of nonlinear dynamics, and with the patronage of Professor Lakshmanan, a good amount of work in the area of nonlinear dynamics could be carried out under the leadership of Professor V.C. Kuriakose. I consider this workshop to commemorate the second death anniversary of Sir as a fitting tribute to his efforts to promote astrophysics, cosmology, and nonlinear dynamics in this part of the world. It is gratifying to note that a whole band of his Shishya Parambara is taking this endeavor forward in different parts of the world. I know most of his students, namely Ravi, Suresh, Minu, Vivek, Taranath, Nijo, Raju, Bindu, Shaju, Ganapati, Vinoj, Shubha, Kuriakose, Chitra, Jisha, Sini, Bhavya, Sanish, Jishnu, Prasya, Lini, and Prashab. All of them are very active in the area of astronomy, astrophysics, and cosmology, and are contributing their might to this cause of science. He has a galaxy of admirers, collaborators, and well-wishers all throughout the world. I pay my humble homage and respects to Sir, and may his good deeds during his lifetime stay alive through his students. On a lighter vein, I find that he is much nearer the galaxies, sitting in the heaven, watching the cosmological events much closer. I also wish this function all success and call upon his students to carry forward his legacy by making him a role model. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
ജയലക്ഷ്മി കൊച്ചിൻ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഫിസിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിൽ നിന്നും പ്രൊഫസറായി റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്ത ശേഷം KCSTയുടെ എമിരറ്റസ് പ്രൊഫസറായി ഫിസിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിൽ തന്നെ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നു. കുര്യാക്കോസ് സാറുമായിട്ടുള്ള എൻ്റെ അസോസിയേഷന് വളരെയധികം വർഷങ്ങളുടെ പഴക്കമുണ്ട്. സാറിൻ്റെ ദീപ്തമായ ഓർമ്മകൾ ഉണർത്തുന്ന ഇത്തരമൊരു ഫംഗ്ഷൻ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ മുൻകൈ എടുത്ത സാറിൻ്റെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ എത്ര അഭിനന്ദിച്ചാലും മതിയാകുകയില്ല. എന്നെ ഈ ഫംഗ്ഷനിലേക്ക് ക്ഷണിച്ചതിനുള്ള നന്ദിയും ഞാൻ ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ അറിയിക്കുന്നു. ഞാൻ പ്രീ ഡിഗ്രി മുതൽ MSc വരെ UC കോളേജിലാണ് പഠിച്ചത്. BScക്ക് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ടീച്ചർ ഇൻചാർജ് ആയിരുന്നു കുര്യാക്കോസ് സാർ, ഞങ്ങളുടെ ബാച്ചിൻ്റെ. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ ബാച്ചിലെ ഓരോ കുട്ടിക്കും സാറിനോട് ഒരു പ്രത്യേക സ്നേഹവും ബഹുമാനവും ഉണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോഴും കുര്യാക്കോസ് സാർ എന്നുള്ള പേര് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ എല്ലാവരും ഒരു പ്രത്യേക സ്നേഹത്തോടും ബഹുമാനത്തോടും കൂടിയാണ് സാറിനെ കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കുക. സാറിനും ഞങ്ങളുടെ ബാച്ചിനോട് ഒരു പ്രത്യേക സ്നേഹവും വാത്സല്യവും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതിനുശേഷം ഞാൻ കൊച്ചിൻ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഫിസിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിൽ സാറിൻ്റെ സഹപ്രവർത്തകയായി ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത ശേഷം സാറുമായിട്ടുള്ള അസോസിയേഷൻ കൂടുതൽ ദൃഢമായി. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗവേഷണ മേഖലകൾ വ്യത്യസ്തങ്ങളായിരുന്നുവെങ്കിലും തിയറി പേപ്പേഴ്സ് പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്ന അവസരങ്ങളിൽ പലപ്പോഴും ഡൗട്ട്സ് ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി സാറിൻ്റെ റൂമിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ ഓടിച്ചെല്ലാറുള്ളത് ഇന്നലെ കഴിഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോഴും ഓർക്കുന്നു. അത്തരം ഓർമ്മകൾ ഒരിക്കലും നിറം മങ്ങാത്ത ഓർമ്മകളായി എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിലിപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ ഓർക്കുന്ന വേറൊരു കാര്യം, സാറ് റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞങ്ങൾ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു നാഷണൽ സെമിനാറിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ്. സാറിൻ്റെ റിസർച്ച് സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനോടൊപ്പം നിന്ന് അവരിൽ ഒരാളായി വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് സാറിനെ ഓണർ ചെയ്യുന്ന നാഷണൽ സെമിനാർ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിച്ചത് എൻ്റെ അക്കാഡമിക് കരിയറിൽ തന്നെ നല്ല നല്ല ഓർമ്മകൾ പ്രദാനം ചെയ്യുന്ന നല്ലൊരു അനുഭവമായി ഇപ്പോഴും ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിൽ സൂക്ഷിക്കുകയാണ്. ഞാൻ ഹെഡ് ഓഫ് ദി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റായി ചാർജ് എടുത്ത സമയത്തും സാറിൻ്റെ ഉപദേശങ്ങൾ തേടിയിരുന്നു. ഇൻഫാക്റ്റ് സാറിൻ്റെ ഉപദേശങ്ങളും പ്രചോദനവും കൊണ്ടാണ് ചാലഞ്ചിങ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പല സിറ്റുവേഷൻസും എഫിഷ്യൻ്റായിട്ട് ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ എനിക്ക് സാധിച്ചത്. വളരെ പ്രഗത്ഭനായൊരു അധ്യാപകൻ, ഗവേഷകൻ, മെൻറ്റർ, ഗുരു, വകുപ്പ് അധ്യക്ഷൻ എന്നീ നിലകളിലെല്ലാം സാറിൻ്റെ സ്തുത്യർഹമായ സേവനങ്ങൾ നമുക്കെല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാം. സാർ പലപ്പോഴും കാണിച്ചു തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന അധ്യാപനത്തിൻ്റെയും ഗവേഷണത്തിൻ്റെയും നൂതനമായ വഴികൾ വരും തലമുറയ്ക്ക് എന്നും പ്രചോദനമായിരിക്കും. മറ്റൊരു ശ്രദ്ധേയമായ കാര്യം ആസ്ട്രോഫിസിക്സ് ആൻഡ് ആസ്ട്രോണമി എന്ന ഗവേഷണ മേഖലയെ പോപ്പുലറൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി സാർ നൽകിയിരിക്കുന്ന നിസ്വാർത്ഥ സേവനങ്ങളാണ്. സ്കൂൾ തലത്തിലും കോളേജ് തലത്തിലും കുട്ടികളിൽ ഗവേഷണാഭിരുചി വളർത്തുവാൻ വേണ്ടി പല പദ്ധതികളും സാർ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ സമൂഹത്തിന് വേണ്ടി സാറ് ഈ മേഖലയിൽ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന സേവനങ്ങൾ എന്നും സ്മരിക്കപ്പെടും. സാർ തുടങ്ങി വെച്ച പല പദ്ധതികളും സാറിൻ്റെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഏറ്റെടുത്ത് മുന്നോട്ട് അത്തരം പദ്ധതികളെ നയിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്നറിയുന്നതിൽ വലിയ സന്തോഷം. സാറിൻ്റെ ദീപ്തമായ ഓർമ്മകളും സാറ് കാണിച്ചു തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന അറിവിൻ്റെ നൂതന വഴികളും വരും തലമുറയെ ഗവേഷണത്തിൻ്റെയും അധ്യാപനത്തിൻ്റെയും ഉന്നത ശ്രേണികളിലേക്ക് നയിക്കുമാറാകട്ടെ. സാറിൻ്റെ ജ്വലിക്കുന്ന ഓർമ്മകൾക്ക് മുമ്പിൽ പ്രണാമങ്ങൾ അർപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിർത്തുന്നു.
Good morning, dear family members of Professor Kuriakose, Professor Leelama Kuriakose, participants and friends. The online workshop on astrophysics, cosmology and nonlinear dynamics is jointly organized by the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics and Astronomical Society of Kerala as a tribute to Professor Kuriakose. This is one of the best ways to pay tribute to Professor V.C. Kuriakose on his second memorial event. He always wanted to promote and attract young minds and talents to basic science. Though he contributed to many fields, he chose astronomy and astrophysics as a way of popularizing and creating interest in younger generation. In this context, the students of Professor V.C. Kuriakose and Astronomical Society of Kerala is taking forward his initiatives and dreams. I had a close acquaintance with Professor Kuriakose way back from my student days. However, the bonding between me and Professor Kuriakose became stronger when I joined as a faculty in 1992, and he turned out to be like a big brother to me when he took over as head of the department. During that period, my wife was also doing her PhD in physics. He was a very calm person with a clear vision and worked towards his goals in a very systematic way. During his headship, we were able to start outreach program, Physics, Scope and Awareness, a 10-day workshop introducing the school children to the world of physics. This was jointly organized by the SPY CUSAT Student Chapter, a Society of Photonics Engineers, and IRC IUCA CUSAT Center. It continued for the past 14 years, except this year because of COVID-19. We could also establish the Physics Alumni Association, which is running well for the past 14 years. I hope the Astronomical Society of Kerala and the students of Professor Kuriakose will continue to popularize and attract young talents through various programs like this, especially in the area of astrophysics, which will be a real tribute to Professor V.C. Kuriakose. Wishing all the best for this webinar. Thank you.
Good morning. Professor V.C. Kuriakose. He was the head of the Department of Physics during the year 2006. That year, I joined in the Department of Physics as a faculty. Professor Kuriakose is a very good academician. He has a very good knowledge in theoretical physics. But one thing what I noticed from him, he actually favored experimental physics also, even though he was in theoretical physics background. He is very good in terms of administration, and he used to spend a little time for the administrative work. But within that limited time, he could have to manage all administrative work. Even the complex administrative matters can be solved in a very smooth way, just like solving complex mathematical problems in a simple way. He is also fond of popularization of science, particularly physics. The physics scope and awareness program of the department was started during his tenureship as the head of the Department of Physics. He is also initiated several research projects with the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. He is a very nice gentleman. He is a role model for all academic people. His smiling face is always in my mind. He is always in my mind.
Hi, good morning to all. I am Titus K. Matthew, a professor in the Department of Physics, and I am very, first of all, thankful to the organizers of this workshop, which is conducted in memory of Professor V.C. Kuriakose, a former head of our department. Professor Kuriakose is known to me for quite a long time, actually from my PhD days onwards in the Department of Physics, CUSAT. Professor Kuriakose retired from his service in the year 2007, the year in which I joined as a faculty member of CUSAT. After his retirement, he was facilitated by the department for relatively longer time, in which he guided many PhD students and also acted as the coordinator of IUCAA Research Center in our department. It is remarkably thankful to know that he could work even then after his retirement in supervising students for their PhD in various fields like nonlinear dynamics, gravity, cosmology, etc. One of his first students, Professor P.K. Suresh, who is now a professor in Central University, Hyderabad, is a contemporary to me in doing his PhD work. I was there in the department at the same time. Personally, I feel that he was a man dedicated totally for his students, and it is very good to know that he has got a very good and competent group of students to survive his fields and also his memories in the world of physics. Further, I also wish all the good, all the best for this workshop conducted in his memory. Thank you. Thank you all.
I'm extremely thankful to the organizers of this meeting, remembering Professor Kuriakose. Kuriakose sir, as we call him in Kerala. My memories regarding Professor Kuriakose are mostly associated with workshops. A large number of workshops for students conducted in association with IUCAA. And we would be planning a workshop, and then one would talk to Professor Kempavi, who was director during a long period of my association with Professor Kuriakose. Professor Kempavi was director of IUCAA. So, and we'll be talking to Professor Kempavi about a workshop, and he'll just sort of wave his hands and say, oh, go talk to Professor Kuriakose. And all the funding, all advice on any contingency, everything would be flawlessly and smoothly taken care of. Also, we have been resource persons together at many workshops connected with astronomy, particularly when there were topics dealing with general theory of relativity. I would give the introduction to general theory of relativity in tensors, and Professor Kuriakose, of course, would be talking about his favorite subject, black holes. He's a well-known physicist who has worked on a range of topics, from the tabletop to abstract concepts in nonlinear dynamics, from particle physics to the whole universe, cosmology. And he's a gifted mentor with a plethora of students. Dr. S.G. Bindu, one of his students, she did her MSc at MG University, and she wanted to continue in research, and then she got admission in QSAT with working with Professor Kuriakose, and I didn't know whether to be sad or glad. Glad that she was getting such an excellent mentor, or sad that I was losing an excellent student. The other aspect of Professor Kuriakose which I would like to remember is, the way I remember him most is him, appearing like a benevolent genie, seemingly out of nowhere, soft-spoken, quiet, but so extraordinarily efficient in his science or in managing the dissemination of science. He was the head of the IUCAA Resource Center at Kochi for a long time, conducting a huge, very large number of programs. And he loved his work, and here I should remember his family, always let him be with his beloved work till the end. I share the sorrow of his family and the sorrow of his students, but it is a good way to go. Leaving such a beloved family and leaving such a plethora of good scientists and students coming out as good scientists. Thank you.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. My humble salutations to my beloved Kuriakose sir. It was with his blessings only now I am placed in a very good situation in life. In my difficult times, he stood with me and guided me and showed me the right path. I will never forget the valuable advice that you have given to me, sir. And we all of us will be remembering you throughout our life. Thank you very much that you have done to us, your favorite students. And we consider, all of us consider it as a great blessing to have you as our guide. Thank you very much, sir.
Respected speakers, participants, and my dear friends, it is indeed gratifying to me to be a part of organizing Professor V.C. Kuriakose Memorial Workshop Series scheduled for today and tomorrow. This is not only an occasion to reminisce Professor V.C.K. Sir as a dedicated scientist, but also an event that testifies that his contributions propagate through his students. I am confident that the discussions organized in this workshop would enable the participants to explore the exciting possibilities of the field as advocated by V.C.K. Sir throughout his life. I was very fortunate to be one among the scholars of Kuriakose Sir. Not just me, any student under his guidance had an opportunity to learn and to inspire by his systematic way of doing things. We enjoyed his personal warmth and care he took in maintaining these relations. 1 week before his sad demise, I recollect his phone call where we shared the grief on the sudden death of Postian Sir of Pondicherry University. As is evident to all of us, V.C.K. Sir was an ardent researcher, having around 150 publications and guided 22 PhD theses. More than a distinguished academician, he was a serene human being. I used to think, maybe because of his works on nonlinear systems, particularly on solitons, which are stable in propagation and remain unchanged in shape, our V.C.K. Sir was so stable in his temperament, always calm and composed. He is better known to stay steady and unruffled even at any odd moments. This remarkable ability have reminded me often the words of Buddha. Peace comes within your heart, do not seek without. Inside and outside, V.C.K. Sir resembles a peaceful, transparent stream, even though he dealt with nonlinearity, chaos, and the vastness of cosmic dimensions. Words can't really express the great loss to us and to the academic fraternity in general. Let us keep his memories, try our best to propagate the scientific causes that he stood for, hold on the human values he had cherished close to our heart. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, good morning. I'm recording this video with a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for all of you. Apajans Guru Babu Sir, distinguished scientists, his teachers, colleagues and students. As a son, it is really a heartwarming moment for me to see all of you gathered together in Apajan's memory. And I think there is no better way of remembering his career than having a workshop series in his chosen field of studies. Myself, Mummy, Manju and our families are grateful for all of your kind words, thoughts and prayers, which over the last 2 years have no doubt helped us a lot. Hearing what he meant to his physics family, especially his students, do really make us very proud. As kids, I don't think and my sister ever discussed our physics classes with Apashan. For that, we always had Mummy, who is also from the physics family and who happened to be the more patient one. Not many kids would have that luxury. And we were perhaps the only kids in our classes at that time who were familiar with Ayuka, Narlikar, Yashpal, science workshops, seminars. These were part of the regular conversations in the house. But to be honest, for us kids at that time, Ayuka meant Pune Chuta. So that is what Apachan always brought back from Pune. And workshops meant new scribbling pads and pens, sometimes even handbags. But as we grew older, we came to appreciate the significance of his work and the dedication and commitment with which he approached it. Our parents were always reading and preparing something, so we kids didn't have much of a choice but to do our homework. Probably that's why both of us didn't take a liking to the academic world. It was too much work. But now we know better. Apachan was a simple man with simple tastes, but a man of strong convictions and always chose to do the things the right way. He considered himself as a teacher first and took pride in being the best he can be for his students. Physics and theology were his two paramount interests. Both are in a way the quest to understand the origin and structure of our world. I have even heard some peers from early days of his career refer to him as a monk. He was passionate about both in his own way. Books were probably his only indulgence. We have shelves lining up with volumes on both these topics, literally in every room of our house. I hope to go through at least a few of them eventually. Speaking of how passionate he was about physics, even I came to fully realize it only during this visit to US when we were there. Whenever we made plans for any of the typical tourist destinations, he was searching for places of importance to physics. Thus, we visited Mount Wilson in Los Angeles. This is where the first 100-inch telescope was built and was used by Hubble to measure the galactic distances and speeds to prove that the universe is expanding. Apachan was like a kid in a candy store from the moment we reached the observatory. He was taking photos, posing for photos, and it was like as if he moved into a different gear altogether. So I'm sure he had some of his most exciting times with his peers and students in the world of physics. Once again, we want to thank all of you who have worked hard to organize this workshop. It must have been an extremely challenging in this pandemic time. Thank you all for the love and care shown to us. And wishing all the participants of this workshop a truly exciting couple of days. May it help to expand your horizons in astrophysics. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot to all the eminent professors, sirs, colleagues, and collaborators who shared their personal reflections, and hats off to sir's student, Dr. Nijo, who compiled it very well. Thank you all. Now, let me invite Dr. Chitra R. Nair, Associate Professor, Tuskegee University, USA, for the vote of thanks.
Hi, good morning all. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Okay, thanks. So, of course, my task today is to give a vote of thanks for this event, which is held in the invaluable memory of Dr. V.C. Kuriakose sir, our beloved teacher and mentor. And the event is organized by the Astronomical Society of Kerala and Ayuka. I think so. Before going into that, I think when we select a PhD guide, I believe that we either get a parent, a Disney story step parent, or maybe for some a mentor. At least for me, and I know for some of us, we got a parent. And I told him that I want to work in Chaos. At that time, he was not working in Chaos. He said, okay. And from there, he allowed me to grow. He allowed me to go to Bharatidasan University to meet Lakshmanan sir. He made sure that we had all the possible ways that he could send us out. So he never micromanaged us. He was very easygoing, always with a smile. But at the same time, he always made sure he set some limits that where we are on track too. Every time I deal with a student, I try to mimic him. And he published in various areas like cosmology, quantum computation, nonlinear dynamics, chaos. He was a great scientist. And of course, when you are a great scientist, you should have a great mentor too. And he was lucky to have Dr. Babu Joseph, sir. So we, sir, students are so thankful to you for being here with us today and enlightening us about his work with you. But more than that, I think we enjoyed the part where you talked about him being vocal during emergency. I don't think that is a side of Kuriakose sir that at least I didn't know about. And then he brought many international conferences and colloquium to be part of our CUSAT physics department, international conference and national conferences. So during my master's and PhD, you kept hearing Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. And with that collaboration, he actually bought so much colloquiums that we were actually able to hear so many eminent scientists, and that actually helped us grow. And he will always ask questions which actually made us also do the same. So I would like to specially thank Dr. Ajit Kimbave, who is the former director of IUCA, who is here with us, Dr. Ranjiv Mishra, coordinator from IUCA, and also Naresh Dadich from IUCA. So you can see how much love they have for him, for all of them to be here during their busy schedule. We sincerely thank you for being here with us today. And we heard a lot of reflections. So many things that I was about to say was covered, and now I am already all emotional. But thank you, Dr. Jayan Nallikar, our colleagues and former colleagues of Dr. Kuriakose sir, KP Vijay Kumar sir, Ramesh sir, Godfrey Louis sir, Anandaraman sir, Titus Matthew, Jairaj sir, Junaid Bushiri sir, and Indulega ma'am, and of course Ganapati sir and Shubha teacher. But Manoj, when Dr. Kuriakose sir's son Manoj again talked about Dr. Kuriakose sir, that was something again special. I always thought about Dr. Kuriakose sir to be a monk. And of course, for us, he was the calm parent. So I think we got a very better side of him for a long time. I'm sure all students of his think about him as a very calm and patient teacher. So thank you, Manoj, for sharing those details with us. And Jayalakshmi teacher, I left like particularly because again, Jayalakshmi teacher was one person who, when I think about, will be running to Kuriakose sir like a student. So she was our teacher when we were doing our masters, but she will be running to sir as if she's a little student of his. So already she told it in her memory. So that was quite nice. And thank you, teacher, for sharing that details with us. Again, for a workshop to be successful, of course, we need speakers. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Sami, Nilima Gupte, Dr. Lakshmanan sir, all of them for agreeing to talk to us. And of course, Leelama teacher was always there in all conferences, and the whole family for being a support and guide to us students, even like all these times. Now, for a conference or webinar to be successful, participants are most important, which means your question, your interaction is most valuable, and along with your feedback. So thank you for logging in, and we are hoping that all of you will stay put for all these 2 days and will be asking questions. Thank you for joining in with us today. Now, of course, we never thank family, especially in India. I think we don't have the habit. But I will like to thank all of Kuriakose sir's students, but especially Nijo, Taranath, Jishnu, and Vivek, who took this effort to bring us all together. I know I have not been in that much contact with anyone. In between, they will ask me something. That was what I was doing. But I know this has started something really good, and I am hoping that we can keep doing this and have a lot of other events in Kerala. And of course, we have a lead, Minu Chechi. So thank you for each and every one of you for making this a success. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Chitra. And former professor at Department of Physics, CUSAT, Professor Elizabeth Mathai is also present among us. Let me take this as an opportunity to thank Elizabeth Mathai teacher. And once again, thank you all. Thanks a million to all those who were present during this memorial function. Thank you all. Our next session will start sharp at 11 a.m. All the participants, please join at 10:55 itself. Thank you all and see you.